As far as halakha is concerned, a woman is allowed to show two, some say even up to 5 fingers worth of hair. Most accepted is usually around the middle, around 3 fingers width of hair. So let's say, for example, you take your hand and you have, let's say, the point finger and the index finger, the point finger and the middle finger, and that's 2 fingers. So in essence, it's like showing the front of the hair. Um, some people call it bangs, and you're allowed to show that. Some show even more, as you saw from that video. I showed pictures of Lubavitcher Rebbe's wife and mom. They showed even more than that. Also, if you look at pictures of Rebbetzin Ovadia Yosef's wife, Zatzal, she also showed some hair. So as far as halakha, Shulchan Aruch, real law, you're allowed to show some hair up to 2 fingers, and some say a little bit more. The people that talk about you're not allowed to show even a single hair, they're holding by the Zohar. The Zohar is not halakha. The Zohar is something above and beyond. It's like chassidut. It's piousness, but it's not halakha. Now, why do so many people, are extra stringent about the issue of no hair, showing no hair? Because that gives their so-called wig argument more strength. It says, look, a wig is covering all of the hair, whereas a mitpachat is not always covering all hair, even though it can. But the reality is that that's not halakha. So they're really only using the Zohar in this one regard, but they're not using it for anything else. So you are allowed to show some hair as far as halakha is concerned, both in regards to Ashkenazim and Sephardim. I'm not talking, the things that I talk about generally have nothing to do with Ashkenazi or Sephardi. They're just talking about plain halakha that relates to everyone. Now, as far as wigs are concerned in general, I've talked about this many times with you and shiurim and so on. There are a few people that have given leniency in previous generations about wigs, but no one has ever given that's a Gadol Adol, has given the leniency for the wigs of today, both synthetic and the real hair wigs. Number one, obviously we've talked about, I'm not going to repeat, idol worship. No one can give a leniency in regards to that. And the second is in regards to the fact that they look like real hair. There's actually a video by Rav Kanievsky, the current Gadol Ador. It's the leader of Torah in our generation. They showed him a 15-year-old wig, and they asked him outright, you see him on camera, they asked him outright, is this allowed? He says, this looks like real hair, therefore it's not allowed. It was a 15-year-old wig, meaning it was beat up. It wasn't like a brand new, shiny and beautiful. It was a 15-year-old wig. I mean, to me it looks the same, but again, for anyone that's, if you're ever going to have a wig that's going to be permitted, in the eyes of the Gedolim, it would be, something that looks not as good. So here you have a solid proof from the Gadol Ador says it's not allowed. Why? Because it looks like real hair. If it looks like real hair, by default, it's not allowed. And that's what I explained in that video in regards to the Gemara of the original Gemara that talks about it. And the fact that a large part of Am Yisrael is making a mistake, so be it. They're making a mistake. They have to do tshuva. What can we do? But there's no confusion here. There's no confusion as far as what the halakha is. It's just yetzara. Yetzara tells people to do certain things, and that's it. Now, obviously, these people taught you wrong, and Baruch Hashem, now you're learning the right thing. But the bottom line is that a woman has to cover her hair with a mitpachat, and even the ones that originally, when you go to the Gemara of 2,000 years ago, to talk about the issues of wearing a wig, and it's written in the Gemara that you can wear a wig, you could see clearly what it says, and I say it in the video. It says that, yes, you can wear a wig as long as you wear a hat on top of it to such a point that the wig is sewed into the hat. It's part of the hat. And it's only under certain circumstances. No one in the history of Am Yisrael, the Gedolim of the previous generations, ever said that a woman should just walk around with a wig on her hair, because, again, even the ones that looked like actual straw, that were hard and it was obvious that they were wigs, still people did not allow it because it still looked odd. It still did not look like Am Yisrael, and it still, most importantly, it did not cover the hair appropriately, did not show modesty like it's supposed to. Modesty is not supposed to be to make something ugly. Modesty is supposed to preserve something. And when the Gemara says that the hair of a woman is erva, is nakedness, so to replace hair with something that looks like hair is silly at best, just to put it politely. It's silly at best. So this is the Torah, and the fact that many Gdolim are failing at this currently is sad. I mean, there's another video by Rabbi Yashiv, and he says, listen, this all of these wigs. He doesn't distinguish between synthetic or real hair. All of the wigs are putzot, meaning immodest. And he says it all started with people that were tzaddikim. People with tzaddikim made a mistake. But, how do you fix such a thing? So he even said in the end of his life that the only way that the wig epidemic that we have is going to be fixed is by the women themselves, not the rabbis. And the reason why is because women have to realize this is obviously wrong. Every woman deep inside knows that a wig, when you really think about it, a wig is not modest, based on the modesty definition of the Torah, not modesty definition of our opinion. Meaning, if the Torah says that modesty means to cover your hair, and a woman puts on a wig, and even if the wig is short, even if the wig is, whatever you want to call it, real, not here, real is irrelevant. Deep inside, she knows it's not the actual definition of modesty. And the reason why is because it still looks like hair. And so long as it looks like hair, then what's the point? Ashkenazi, Sephardi, irrelevant. Common sense. It's not modest. That's it. It's not the modest definition of the Torah. And that's why the Torah, said it's not allowed. And that's why, if you look at the numbers of how many poskim throughout all of history said it's allowed versus not allowed, it's outnumbered over 20-1, meaning over 120 poskim said it's completely forbidden. Only a handful said it's allowed. You don't go to the lenient side with something that's asur deoraita, that's forbidden according to the Torah. You don't go to the lenient side. You go to the stringent side. So there's a lot of things that we've talked about in the past. There's a lot of that we're repeating. There's a lot of things that perhaps maybe know, but bottom line is, deep inside, every woman knows the truth. Every single woman on earth, even the one that's wearing the long wig, the short wig, the real wig, the fake wig, everybody knows the truth. Deep inside, that the hair of the wig looks like real hair. That's actually the goal. There's a book called The Secret Life of Hair by an anthropologist that she asked Jewish women all over London and different parts of the world and said, what's the ideal wig? And they outright say, for it to look exactly like my real hair, which by definition means it defeats the point. It defeats the point. And the Gemara says the isur of wearing a wig. Why? It says because it makes a older woman wears younger hair. That's obviously it's not supposed to be. That's logic. But how many people are failing? So many people are failing. They're failing because they have Yetzirah. So, but now we have a added ammunition to help people get over that Yetzirah, which is the fact that it's no longer the issue of modesty. The modesty issue they've been battling it for a few generations, and unfortunately, very little has changed. But now there's new ammunition, which is the ammunition, is the fact that it's Avodah Zarah, both in the real hair wigs and in the synthetic wigs. And the reason why the synthetic wigs are thrown into the mix is because recent research that some people did, they were from and known in the industry. They said that since there's so much short hair being cut, and there's nothing to do with it, they're not using all of it for food, which is called L-cysteine. They put it in bread and cakes and things like that. They want to sell it. So they use it to put some more volume and otherwise into fake wigs, into synthetic wigs. So, which means that even synthetic wigs have, in many cases, been found to have some real hair in it, which means they're not reliable either. So now you have the modesty issue has always been a case since the time that time began. It's just since the time it was first discussed in the Gemara almost 2,000 years ago, it's always been a problem. And 90% of the Gedolim throughout all of history, or 95% of all the Gedolim throughout all of history said it's not allowed because of modesty reasons. But now we have additional information that shows it's also not allowed because of Avodah Zarah reasons. People just have to pick the side and use their common sense. If they want to take a risk and go up to Shamayim with their wig, regardless of whether it's real hair or synthetic wig, good luck to them. That's all I can say. But that's really what it comes down to. And if you look at all of the major people that promote wigs, you'll also see that their wives wear wigs. Their wives wear wigs. So in essence, even if they wanted to change their opinion, usually they can't because it would go against their own wife. So they're nagua. They have a biased opinion. And as far as the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe that everybody uses as a backbone, as an okay or echsher for all wigs, I mean, he didn't say what people say he said. And the best example and the best proof that we just provided is that his own mother and his own wife did not wear wigs. So, I mean, you can't say that he believed full-hearted in wigs when his wife and his mom, his two number one fans, did not do it. It's like someone starts a kosher institution for meat and his own family doesn't eat there. Would you eat there? No. So that's the thing. But again, like I said, why do people fail? They're big chachamim. They know a lot of Torah. They've been around for longer than I have and all that good stuff. Great. That's not going to change the Yetzirah. Yetzirah is inside all of us. But again, you have to look at the numbers. How many major poskim said it's allowed? Very few. How many said it's not allowed? Over 90% of them. Over 90% of them. I have sources for 127 of them. So 127 major Gedolim say it's not allowed. I mean, you're going to go against the Chafetz Chaim, you're going to go against the Rav Ovadia, you're going to go against Rabbi Yashiv, Yonatan ben Uziel from 2,000 years ago. Somebody wants to go against them, good luck to them. What can I tell them? Again, at the end of the day, every single woman knows the truth inside, and she has to make a decision accordingly. But Hashem, she makes the right decision, because to show up to Shamayim with, but my rabbi told me so, is not a good argument. It's not a good argument. Kol Tuv and Tzlachah Rabah.